Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for telling my mom about my stepfather's affair after catching him with another woman? I'm really struggling with whether I did the right thing or not, and now my family feels like it's falling apart. This happened a few nights ago, and I can't stop thinking about it. So, I, 32F, was invited out to dinner by a coworker. She's new at my job, and we've been getting along pretty well, so when she asked me to come celebrate her birthday, I figured why not? We went to this nice restaurant, like one of those fancy places I usually wouldn't go to unless it's for something special. While we're eating, I spot someone across the room who looks really familiar. It took me a second, but I realized it was my stepdad, 50M. That alone threw me off because he was supposed to be out of town for a business meeting that night. My mom, 58F, even mentioned earlier in the day that he had a big work thing and wouldn't be home until the weekend. At first, I thought maybe his trip got canceled and he was having dinner with a colleague or something. But then I noticed the woman he was with. She was way younger than him and dressed really, let's just say, not professional. They were sitting close together, laughing, and being super touchy. My stomach was already in knots, but then he leaned in and kissed her. Not a friendly kiss, a full-on, romantic kiss. I felt like the room was spinning. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I didn't know what to do, so I pulled out my phone and started recording. I wasn't even thinking clearly, but I knew my mom would never believe me if I just told her. My stepdad has always been the perfect husband in her eyes, and she trusts him completely. After they finished their meal, they left together. I didn't follow them. I couldn't handle seeing any more. I just sat there for the rest of the night trying not to cry and barely touched my food. When I got home, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying what I saw in my head and trying to figure out what to do. A little background: my mom and stepdad have been married for 15 years. He's been in my life since I was a teenager and has always been a father figure to me and my younger brother, 27M. But over the years, I've heard rumors about him cheating. My mom always brushed them off, saying people just like to gossip because they were jealous of their relationship. I debated all night about whether to tell her. Part of me wanted to pretend I didn't see anything, but I knew I couldn't live with myself if I kept quiet. So, I showed her the video. She didn't cry right away. She just stared at the screen like she was trying to process what she was seeing. Then she thanked me for telling her, and we just sat in silence for what felt like forever. The next day, she confronted my stepdad. He tried to deny it at first, saying I must have misunderstood or taken things out of context. But when she mentioned the video, he couldn't come up with any more excuses. He packed a bag and left the house. Now my mom is devastated. She hasn't eaten much, barely sleeps, and I feel awful for being the one to shatter her world like this. To make things worse, my brother is furious with me. He says I should have minded my own business and let them work things out on their own. He thinks I made everything worse by showing her the video instead of confronting my stepdad first. Even some of my friends think I overstepped by recording him and exposing him like that. I thought I was doing the right thing by being honest with my mom, but now I'm second-guessing everything. Was I wrong to get involved? Am I the bad person? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for shutting my sister out of my family's lives and declining her wedding invitation? 5 years ago, my niece Nikki and her friends ridiculed and harassed my son Mark. They speculated about his sexuality, called him slurs, and even used the N-word with a hard R, all for their entertainment. When Mark came home, he was crying, shaking, and yelling as he tried to tell me what happened. It was heartbreaking. I immediately approached my sister to address the issue. I explained Mark's side of the story and the state he was in, but she dismissed it, claiming her daughter and her friends would never act that way. She didn't even offer to talk to Nikki. This wasn't an isolated incident. A few months before, Nikki kicked Mark in the genitals in front of her friends as a joke. When I demanded an explanation and an apology, Nikki refused, started crying, and claimed it was unfair to hold her accountable, even as Mark was still in pain. Nikki also has a history of mean-spirited behavior, such as calling my younger son Corey, then 6 years old, the annoying child instead of his name. Corey has asked me why she does this and shared how much it upsets him. In the case of Mark, my sister doubled down, claiming that one of Nikki's friends, the one who used the N-word, couldn't possibly be racist because she's Mexican. Her exact words were, "I don't know what you want me to do about this." That was the final straw for me. I told her that if she wasn't willing to address the issue, it was in my family's best interest to distance ourselves. 3 days later, she called me, said she spoke to Nikki, and told me, "We're good on my end." No details, no resolution, just that. When I followed up via email asking what was discussed and what actions would be taken, she never responded. To this day, no apology has been offered, not from my sister, Nikki, or the other kids involved. I informed my extended family about the situation and my decision to keep my kids away from my sister's family. While some were supportive, others, including my mother, have tried to undermine this boundary. One time, my mom secretly took my kids to spend time with my sister's family without my permission. I only found out because my younger son mentioned it. I was furious and drove an hour to pick them up immediately. Fast forward to today, I've received criticism for maintaining this boundary. My sister is now getting married and invited us to the wedding, but I declined. My mother even asked if she could take my kids to the wedding, and I flatly said no. There has been no effort from my sister to apologize or reconcile. The only time she reached out after the incident was to add me to a group chat asking if we could take her to a birthday party in Chicago, no mention of the harm she caused. I'm standing firm in my decision to protect my kids, but I've been labeled as overly harsh and unforgiving. Am I the bad person? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for selling my Taylor Swift tickets after my GF cheated? A few months back, I, 27M, won some money and decided to surprise my girlfriend, 25F, with Taylor Swift tickets for her Vancouver show. She's been a massive Swiftie since forever, and I knew this would mean the world to her. I spent around $800 for 2 really good seats. Last week, I discovered she'd been secretly meeting up with her work friend for months. I found out because she accidentally left her Instagram DMs open on my laptop. She'd been using it to print something, and I saw weeks of flirty messages and plans to meet up. When I confronted her, she tried to deny it at first, but eventually admitted they'd kissed several times and had been having an emotional affair. I was devastated. These tickets were meant to be a special experience for us, and I couldn't stomach the thought of taking her after this betrayal. Rather than let them go to waste, I decided to sell them. Given how insane the Taylor Swift ticket market is right now, I managed to sell them for $2,400, triple what I paid. When she found out I sold the tickets, she completely lost it. She's been blowing up my phone, calling me petty and cruel, saying I ruined her dream and that the tickets were a gift so they belonged to her. Her friends are also messaging me saying I'm an awful person for using the tickets to hurt her. I feel like I had every right to sell tickets that I bought with my own money, especially after what she did. But she's making me feel like I took things too far. Am I the bad person? Can't wrap my head around that story. What do you think? Who is in the wrong there? Let us know down in the comments section and let's move on to our last case. Case 4. Am I the bad person for refusing to house my best friend's dog while she's on vacation? My 28F best friend Rachel, 30F, asked me last week if I could watch her dog, Max, for 2 weeks while she and her boyfriend go on a luxury vacation. Max is a sweet dog, but he's high energy, not properly trained, and has a habit of chewing on furniture and shoes. I've had Max over once before when Rachel visited my place, and he caused quite a bit of chaos. He chewed through my couch cushion and left scratches on my wooden floors. I also live in a small apartment, and managing Max alongside my demanding work-from-home schedule would be a huge challenge. When Rachel brought it up, I politely declined and explained that my current setup isn't ideal for a high-energy dog. I suggested she look into a pet sitting service or a kennel, even offering to help cover a portion of the cost since I know money is tight for her right now. She didn't take it well, saying I should want to help her out as a best friend and that Max would feel abandoned if he was left at a kennel. Since then, Rachel has been distant and has made a few passive-aggressive remarks about how she can't count on me when it matters. Some mutual friends have even weighed in, saying I'm being too rigid and could make it work if I really wanted to. I feel bad for saying no, but I also feel like I'm setting a boundary to protect my space and peace of mind. Now, I'm wondering if I should have just sucked it up and agreed to help her out. Am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.